Welcome to Cross Platform Podcast, where we discuss how to solve productivity problems across platforms. I'm Augusto Pinaud,
And I'm Art Gelwicks.
and we are back with our news segment. This is episode 58, and today we're going to be covering two news. Lenovo ThinkPad C14, the first Chromebook, has a 12th generation Intel and starts at just 629. And our second news is about YouTube and finally how Wear OS after Google I/O happened last week. It's finally a streaming support. So let's start talking about the Chromebook because we have covered Chromebooks many times and we have said how much Chromebook has been gaining ground into the offices and how much this is coming. But this is a serious bet from Lenovo ThinkPad.
hmm
Lenovo ThinkPad, it's the standard thing of indestructible machines that comes to the Fortune 500. Okay, that is
Yeah.
the machine that they wanted to give you when they think you cannot destroy or you should not destroy it. But is this the first time the ThinkPad is coming with a Chromebook?
I don't know if it's the first ThinkPad, but it's definitely one of the first few in the new class of 12th generation Intel chips that has a variety of different processors that falls at this price point. Usually, when you find devices that have this sort of a configuration with a possible 16 gig of RAM and 256 gig of onboard storage, the display quality that's on here is a 1920 by 1280 resolution screen. This is the type of device that you would normally be expecting to pay upwards of $800 to $1,000 as a flagship level Chromebook. This one is coming out at 629, which really floors me because we know Lenovo has proven its quality when it comes to physical devices again. And when Lenovo bought ThinkPad, they picked up a pretty big brand name when it comes to reliability and just durability. Anybody who ever worked with ThinkPads, back in the day, knows those things, they weren't the lightest, they weren't svelte, but man, they could take a beating and they survived. Well, this follows in that entire genre. And I like the fact that it's something that's not a cheap low end Chromebook, which unfortunately I think Chromebooks are still stigmatized with a bit. They're still perceived as, oh, it's a classroom, it's a student device, it's that. And rightfully so in many cases. I mean, Lenovo currently has a Chromebook at Target right now that you can buy for $99. I mean, it's that type of a wheelhouse. But this type of a device, if I was looking at outfitting in a business, I would have to make this a serious point of consideration. And the thing that really intrigued me when I first saw the article, in the middle of the keyboard is that little tiny pencil eraser that we all know and love from our ThinkPads that or love or hate, because I know a
Or
lot of
hey,
people had a
yes.
mixed relationship. I used to love the little thing, which is the little track or the little ThinkPad,
Right.
clown nose for allow you to control the cursor. That to me says this is a ThinkPad. So I like the fact that we're seeing devices hitting in this price point with this spec and this capability. Here's the big thing. We're going to talk about this in the topics part of this week's shows. This is the type of device that will last until its end of life sometime in 2029. Operating system is not going to be the hangup. The hardware is going to hold up. So you're going to have a companion for 7, 8 years. And I think this is the type of machine that can live up to that.
Yeah, and I was checking. There is actually another Lenovo, a C13, also with the appropriate things on the keyboard and all that. And at some point, they allowed you also to put 16 gigabytes into that one. It comes
Mm-hmm.
standard with four, and technically you can upgrade it. I didn't find a way to upgrade it easily as I was playing with it on the website, but according to the technical specs, it can go up to 16. Uh, but but as you said, this is a big bet because convertibles and stuff in the corporate world still look like I don't
Hmm.
know. This is not a serious machine. This is designed to look as a serious machine.
And
This is designed to look and act as that, but it's a Chromebook.
what intrigues me also about this is the type of machine that puts new fire under that conversation. Can a Chromebook be your primary machine? This is a machine that's vying for that role. And the only times that I would say that a Chromebook could not be your primary machine would be in situations where connectivity was going to be suspect, because you're still counting on a lot of functionality
Mhm.
to be connected, to have that functionality available to you. But I think that's starting to change as well. As we look at more applications, we look at more PWAs, we look at more things that operate in a local mode for a fair part of their activity. Again, Chromebooks take that step a little further down the path. So it's encouraging to see this. And I think as these become more entrenched in the enterprise environment, I think enterprise is going to push on those manufacturers and, excuse me, and on the operating system and say, hey, you got to do more.
We've been pushing enterprise to go to the cloud.
Yeah.
If they go to the cloud, then why do you need? Office is now pushing to get rid of the office in the
Hmm.
machines in corporate. Well, if I don't need to have a Windows machine to use Office 365 because I can do it on the browser, why do I need now to put Windows machines? Let me bring these Chromebooks that are cheaper, that are going to be harder to destroy, that I can power
Hmm.
wash remotely much easier than what I need to do into a Windows machine, and let it go. And this is one of those options that, from the IT perspective on corporate, on buying and all this is a serious contender, because when I bring you this, I'm bringing you a standard that everybody can look the same and all that.
Right. And that's from a small, medium, large business perspective. Continuity, consistency, and reliability are the
Key.
earmarks of any viable tech solution that they're going to roll out. And if they can take a machine, roll it out, people can use it for their, the basic business functions that they need. If it goes haywire, they can power wash it and hand them just another one, and they're right back where they were. That's a huge selling point. So,
That's a yeah.
I think this is a good example of this, and I think we'll see more machines like this. So,
Yeah, I'm excited. I missed that C13. I didn't remember the C13 machine with the keyboard and the Lenovo and all that. But I agree with you. Given this will be very, very interesting to see what they are going with this.
right, and I mentioned it in the pre-show. It's not part of the news discussion, but I was reading an article today comparing a very high-end Android tablet, the Samsung S8 Ultra, to the Lenovo 5, which is a Chrome OS tablet. And when it came to productivity, the Chrome OS tablet won. So it's, again, I think we're getting close. Come on, we're
I live
getting
on an
really
iPad.
close.
I live on an iPad, and I got for the podcasting last year, more than a year ago, I got the Lenovo Duet. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew the Lenovo Duet was under power, under everything. Okay, that was the reason of that. It was affordable enough. It was a tablet form, and it will work for the test. See
Mm-hmm.
if the audio and the recording work. Okay, and it worked. Okay, incredibly well. I had the Lenovo Duet 5 in there because I upgraded to that one, the Duet, and it is a really, really good machine. My only complaint has nothing to do with the machine, has to do with the fact that we upgrade oral recordings to Crisp, and Crisp only runs in Mac or Windows. So
Right.
I could not use that machine. If you give me Crisp in that machine to keep our audio, that
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to raise the level, I will have not need to do what I need to set up the Mac. But that's something that I will bring up again on the Wednesday episode when we talk about devices that reach the life end.
Yep. So the second news article I had was talking about how YouTube for Music for Wear OS is getting an upgrade. On the watch itself, it's got a better interface now. You've got better controls. You can actually stream over Wi-Fi and LTE for YouTube Music. Why is this newsworthy? Well, it actually has less to do with YouTube Music and more to do with the fact that Google I/O just happened. And now we're actually seeing Google pay attention to the product that they released. Wear OS applications that are finally stepping up to be able to have the functionality they should. Why? Because Google has a Pixel Watch now, and they have to make the Pixel Watch look and function as good as it can. That goes in Wear OS. Therefore, other devices like Samsung watches and Fossil watches that support Wear OS are going to reap the benefits of it. It's newsworthy because it's about bloody time. They should have been doing this for ages ago, but at least it's finally starting to be here. So that's a good sign.
Well, and
I'll admit, I'm a YouTube Music user. I have it as well as Spotify and a couple others. There are some very nice features of it and some nice capabilities, and I'm anxious to try it through Wear OS and see how well it works because I live with my watch on. So
yeah, that will be interesting, and I agree. Now the fossils and the galaxies are going to see a push if actually the pixel goes out and it live long enough. That's the problem. I
yeah.
I, I love Google. Okay,
Mhm.
I have nothing against Google. I love the fact when they stamp the name behind the device because they really push. They don't accept that render of that tablet on Google I/O. If you don't know, you can. I think you can search "ugly tablet" by Google and you will get the
Mhm.
image. Okay, but except that normally when they stamp the Google name behind, they really come pushing boundaries, and that is very good for everybody, for Apple, for Samsung, and everybody else. So the problem is they are willing to kill the products too fast in some
Yes.
cases. You know, the pixel, what's the Pixel tablet? No, the Slate.
Yes.
Okay, they released the Slate. That was an incredible
Mhm.
Google Chrome tablet, but it didn't last a year. Okay, they
Which
launched
I
a couple of
again,
promotions
that's one
and
of those
killed it.
cases I don't get it. I don't understand why you don't give a device enough time to get its legs under it.
Correct.
And granted,
And that's my
Pix
concern with the Wear. It's going to be released and it's going to be killed too early.
they may kill their own watch, but they won't kill Wear OS. And I think because
Yeah,
Wear
but then
OS,
they will not develop behind that.
well, and that's honestly that's fine as long as they just keep upgrading the operating system. Leave it up to the other companies to upgrade their apps, and that's fine. It's nice to see Google upgrading their own apps, and there are some integral pieces. For example, improving the functionality of Google Assistant when it comes to Wear OS and making it available on all the devices. That's a big differentiator because nobody else has comparable to that. But again, this is one of those things where Google has that vibe of like, hey, we tried something, and all of a sudden it's squirrel, and they're off doing something else. So I'm not sure if we're going to see this continue, but I hope, and I'm hoping this portends a future of more and more development on this particular platform. So that's why I think it's newsworthy.
No, no, I agree with you. And I think we are coming to interesting weeks because as we are recording this, Google I/O just happened. Next
Mhm.
week will be, and we went in to discuss the in Anything But Idle with Ray Sidney Smith. We went, the three of us, and discussed
Mhm.
extensively uh, what Google did well and what they did not, in our opinion. But
Yeah.
and we will do now Microsoft Build next Monday also, and we will bring whatever list is left for here. But also the Apple one is coming, so it is an interesting thing for our episode that you will see coming
Mhm.
out on Wednesday, episode 60, episode 59. Sorry, because episode 59 is going to talk about when the device and the rich life, the end of their life. And doesn't matter if that is because end of the life or is because you are planning to upgrade. So we invite you to listen that episode. But in the meantime, follow us. where you like to listen to podcasts, like us or subscribe to us and leave us a review. You can also interact with us on personalproductivity.club. There is page for cross-platform. And next week, hopefully, we are going to come with some announcements about the domain for the
Hmm.
podcast. We are upgrading things here, so we are excited about it. So we are Augusto Pinaud and Art Gelwicks, and see you next time from your favorite device.